For me, I mean, on one level, I just have to start with just the basic of me just being sort of like, frustrated, full of anxiety, almost a kind of psychosomatic kind of feeling going into before, during, and also after this sort of election. But for me, just to sum it up, I mean, it's sort of what Amir Baraka called in his Blues People the changing saying. What pundits are calling Trumpism for people, for communities of color. I mean, Trumpism is sort of, just sort of white supremacy, right, in some ways. And, race still governs, if you will, not only the soul of America, but still governs sort of religion in America. And so, for me as a religious historian, I mean, I was very interested, in just the ways in which, each, the Biden as well as the Trump campaign, the ways in which, race kind of showed up in the ways in which they were thinking about religion. And it got me thinking about, the antecedents of the 1960s, right? So, thinking about law and order, thinking about, voter suppression, thinking about, suburban women, and thinking about, private property, thinking about socialism. And yes, these things have a lot to do with how religion is mapped onto the sort of political landscape and the ways in which race is just very much a part of the ways in which different demographics are mapped racially. And so, as a religious historian, I kept thinking about the antecedents that got us to this point, because in some ways, it is so easy for us just to blame Trump for all the kind of ugliness of American racism, and particularly its relationship to religion. But at the end of the day, Trump just brought out what America really is. And, not only what America really is, but the stories we tell ourselves. So it's very important that even if we're telling the same old stories, the antecedents that led to Trump, that we really tell the old stories and focus on particular themes of race and its relationship to the carceral state, private property, suburban women, and so forth. We can put greater emphasis there, even if we're telling old stories, because we need new stories to account for the antecedents that caused or allowed for Trump to be here, that tell us a lot about what America, how what America is, and what America and how Americans take themselves. I guess if that makes sense. Yeah.